I discovered. And next time, I wouldn't dance alone. I used to think dance was just movement. But that night, under my mother's old record player light, it became a mirror. A mirror that showed me who I really was, and what it would cost to finally be her. Those words echoed in my mind for days after that conversation with my mother, after she told me the truth about her ankle, about the injury that stole her future, after she looked at me with those knowing eyes and said, "I passed it on." The dress in the wardrobe wasn't just fabric anymore, it was possibility. I felt a rhythm taking shape inside me. Not my mother's rhythm, this was something new. Something that felt like belonging. I wasn't chasing her dream anymore. I was living mine. I started watching videos. Hours of them. Salsa dancers, Latin ballroom. Something in me was drawn to the feminine dresses. I love watching the women dance. The way they moved wasn't just technical, it was conversational. Every hip sway told a story. Every turn asked a question. Every extension of the arm was a sentence, complete and eloquent. I began practicing in my room late at night. And it was there, waiting. Like my bones had always known this language, but my mind had forbidden me from speaking it. I wasn't copying my mother anymore. I was rediscovering my own identity through her rhythm. 3 weeks after that conversation with my mother, I made the first move. I enrolled in an online salsa class. Not the beginner classes where everyone starts together, fumbling through basic steps. I found classes specifically for styling, for feminine technique, for solo practice. Classes taught by women, for women, about embodying grace and confidence through movement. I told myself I was just curious, just exploring, just seeing if this feeling was real or if it would fade once the novelty wore off. It didn't fade, it grew. Packages started arriving at the bookstore where I worked. I'd have them shipped there instead of home, innocent cardboard boxes that held dangerous secrets. I told my parents I'd picked up extra shifts, that the bookstore was doing inventory and needed me to close several nights a week. The lie tasted bitter, but the alternative, explaining what I was really doing, felt impossible. Every night I'd lock the door, turn the music low, and let the rhythm take me. The mirror became my only witness. The silk brushing my arms wasn't costume anymore, it was confession. Every spin was a small rebellion, every sway a secret blooming. I danced to muffle the sound, conscious of every floorboard, every squeak, every breath, but I danced, following the instructor's movements, rewinding sections over and over until my body understood what my mind was trying to teach it. Hip isolations. Figure eights. The way to step, touch, step, with intention, with sensuality, with presence. How to extend through the fingertips. How to spot during turns so the world didn't blur into nausea. How to let the skirt flare at exactly the right moment to create that perfect circle of fabric. It wasn't costume. It was confession. Every night, I became more myself. The satin against my skin stopped feeling foreign and started feeling essential. The heels stopped being obstacles and became extensions of my body. The mirror stopped showing me someone playing dress-up and started reflecting someone coming home. Plus, the more I danced, the less afraid I felt. The more I embodied this version of myself, the more impossible it became to imagine going back. I was hiding from the world. But every night, the music made me visible again. Secrets don't just change your nights, they start changing your days. I became distracted at meals. My father would ask me to pass the salt, and I'd be mentally reviewing a turn sequence, my fork frozen halfway to my mouth. My mind would drift mid-conversation, replaying the feeling of a perfect hip roll, the moment when everything clicked and my body understood what it was supposed to do. I started moving differently, not obviously. I wasn't suddenly swishing through the house, but my posture shifted. I held myself taller. My steps had more intention. My hands, when I gestured, had more grace. My mother noticed first. I'd catch her watching me across the kitchen, this small smile playing at her lips. She never said anything directly, but I'd see it, the recognition in her eyes. Like she was watching herself 20 years ago, that same glow of someone falling in love with dance. She'd ask casual questions. "You seem happier lately. Something good happen at work?" I'd deflect with half-truths and subject changes. But we both knew. On some level, we both knew. My father mistook my distraction for laziness. He'd find me staring out windows, lost in thought, and sigh with that particular brand of disappointed confusion that father's perfect. "Billy, you with us?" Earth to Billy. "You planning to do something with your life, son, or just gonna keep daydreaming?" The words stung, but they also felt distant, Like criticisms of someone I used to be, someone I was actively leaving behind. Daniel, my 12-year-old brother, would tease me with the casual cruelty of siblings. Billy's got a girlfriend. Billy's in love. He'd make kissy faces across the dinner table. But inside, my heart would race. Because he wasn't entirely wrong. I was in love, just not with a person. With a version of myself, with movement, with transformation, with truth. The family felt something shifting. You could sense it in the air, that electrical charge of change approaching. But no one could name it. We were all dancing around it, ironically circling this unnamed thing that was altering the chemistry of our household. I was balancing two worlds, the one they could see. Dutiful son, bookstore employee, the kid who hadn't quite figured life out yet. And the one that finally saw me, dancer, feminine, grace-embodied, the person I was becoming in the privacy of my locked room every night. I didn't know how much longer I could maintain both. It was a Tuesday afternoon in November when everything changed. I was reorganizing the community bulletin board at the bookstore, pulling down expired flyers for garage sales and lost cats, when I saw it. Bright red paper, bold letters. Impossible to miss once I noticed it. Community Salsa Showcase all levels welcomes solo and partner performances, celebration of Latin dance and culture, December 15th, 7 p.m. I felt a spark as I unpinned it from the board. A showcase. A real one. Not professional, just community members sharing their love of dance. The flyer showed photos from previous years. People of all ages, all body types, all skill levels. Some in elaborate costumes, others in simple practice wear. All of them glowing with that particular joy that only comes from dancing in front of people who understand. I took the flyer home, folded it carefully, tucked it into my pocket, carried it like a secret talisman. That night, after my family went to sleep, I didn't dance. I just sat on my bed, holding that red piece of paper, reading it over and over. All levels welcome. Solo performances. I didn't dream of fame. I wasn't imagining spotlight and applause and recognition. That wasn't what called to me. What called to me was simpler and infinitely more terrifying. I wanted to stop hiding. I wanted to tell the truth out loud, not with words, but with movement. To stand in front of people and say, with my body, this is who I am. Not Billy the lost 20-year-old. Not Billy the disappointment or the daydreamer or the one without a plan, but Billy the dancer. Billy the feminine. Billy, the one who found himself in satin and heels and discovered that the most honest version of himself had been waiting in his mother's closet all along. It wasn't about the crowd. It was about telling the truth out loud. The showcase was 4 weeks away. 4 weeks to make a decision. 4 weeks to find the courage. 4 weeks to tell my family, because I couldn't do this in secret anymore. If I was going to step onto that stage, even that small community center stage, I needed them to know. I needed them to see me. All of me. The idea gave me courage and terror in equal measure. But mostly, courage. Because I was done dancing in the dark. I didn't plan to tell them that Friday night. I'd been rehearsing speeches for days. Careful explanations, gentle revelations, ways to make it sound reasonable and small and nothing to worry about. But the truth has a rhythm of its own, and sometimes it refuses to wait for the perfect moment. We'd just finished dinner, spaghetti, Daniel's favorite. My mother was clearing plates. My father was scrolling through his phone. Daniel was doing that thing 12-year-olds do where they're simultaneously present and completely in their own world, normal, ordinary, safe. And then I heard myself speaking. I've been learning to dance. The words fell into the room like stones into still water. Everyone looked up. My mother's hands paused mid-reach for a glass. My father's thumb stopped scrolling. Daniel's fork clinked against his plate. Dance? My father's voice was careful, neutral, the voice of someone trying not to react before understanding what they're reacting to. Salsa? Latin dance, like Mom used to do. My mother sat down slowly. Billy, I've been taking online classes, at night, for a few weeks now. The words were coming faster, my heart hammering. And there's this showcase in December at the community center, and I want to perform. That's great, Daniel said, genuinely excited. Like, with a partner? Are you doing the guy part? Here it was. The cliff edges. The moment of truth. No, I'm doing the feminine part. The follower. I took a breath. The part Mom did. With the heels and the styling and the grace. That's what I've been learning. Silence. Not angry silence. Not yet. Just processing silence. My father set his phone down. You want to dance? In heels? In front of people? Yes. Billy, I don't. He stopped, started again. Why? How do you explain 20 years of feeling wrong in your own skin? How do you describe the sensation of finally finding yourself in the last place anyone thought to look? Because it's the first thing that's ever felt right. My mother reached across the table, took my hand. Her eyes were shining. Show us. What? Show us. Dance for us. Right now. My father looked at her like she'd suggested I juggle chainsaws. Elizabeth, I want to see. She squeezed my hand. Please, Billy, show us what you've learned. I rushed upstairs, put on the practice skirt, the satin top, the heels, took 3 deep breaths, came back downstairs. They'd moved to the living room, the space where my mother used to dance, years ago. My father and Daniel sat on the couch. My mother stood by the speaker, phone ready. What music? She asked gently. Vivere a mi vita. Mark Anthony. She pressed play. The opening notes filled the room. That infectious, life-affirming rhythm. The same song she used to dance to. And I began to move. I forgot they were watching. I forgot to be nervous. I just danced. The way I'd been practicing every night. The hip rolls. The turns, spotting carefully. The arm styling, fluid and graceful. The way the skirt flared when I spun, creating that perfect circle. 3 minutes. The song ended. I stood there, breathing hard, heart racing. Daniel broke the silence first. Holy crap, Billy, that was amazing. But I was looking at my father. His face was complicated. Pride and confusion and fear all mixed together. He stood up slowly, walked to the window, stared out at the dark street. Dad. Your mother almost died learning to do that. His voice was quiet. Strained. That injury. It could have been so much worse. We lost too much to that world already. The words hit like a punch, but before I could respond, my mother spoke. We didn't lose anything. She crossed to my father, placed her hand on his shoulder. My dream didn't die in that accident. It just waited, and now it's found him. Elizabeth, look at him. She turned my father away from the window, made him face me. Really look at him. That's not pain on his face, that's not confusion, that's joy. That's our son finally finding himself. My father looked at me. Really looked, and something in his expression cracked. You're serious about this? Yes. This showcase. You want to perform. In public, like that? I nodded. He was quiet for a long time. Then he sighed, a sound that carried years of protective instinct and learned fear and, finally, acceptance. Then dance, son. His voice was rough. Just do it safely. Do it proudly. The relief hit me like a wave. And, he paused, maybe I could come to the showcase, if you want. Tears blurred my vision. Yeah, I'd like that. My mother pulled me into a hug, and then Daniel was there too. And finally, my father. Awkward but sincere. All of us tangled together in the middle of the living room. For the first time, love was louder than fear. Now it wasn't a secret anymore. It was a promise. The next evening, my mother knocked on my door. Want to practice together? We moved the coffee table in the living room, clearing space. She put on music, the same songs she used to dance to, the ones I'd watched her perform to as a child. And she taught me, not just steps. I'd learned those from videos. She taught me the details, the subtle things that separate someone who knows the movements from someone who embodies them. When you turn, it's not just about getting around. It's about creating a visual. Make them want to watch you spin. She demonstrated, her body memory still sharp despite years of inactivity. See how I delay the release? That's what creates drama. I copied her, feeling the difference immediately. And your hands. Don't just move them, place them. Every position should look intentional, like you're painting the air. She'd stand behind me, adjusting my posture. Shoulders back, but soft. Not military, not rigid. You want to look proud, but not tense. We'd practice for hours. My father would come home from work and find us in the living room, music playing, both of us moving. At first, he'd head straight upstairs, uncomfortable with the unfamiliarity of it all, but gradually I'd catch him pausing in the hallway, watching, not speaking, but smiling faintly, seeing something that reminded him why he'd fallen in love with my mother in the first place. Daniel would sprawl on the couch, doing homework but mostly watching, occasionally offering commentary. That spin was sick, Billy. Mom, show him that hip thing again. The house was alive again. Really alive. Not the fake aliveness of people going through motions, but the genuine, vibrant energy of joy rediscovered. The same joy that had vanished when my mother stopped dancing all those years ago. My mother's laughter returned, full and rich and frequent. Sometimes she'd laugh at my mistakes, gently, never meanly, but more often she'd laugh with pure delight at watching me nail a difficult sequence. "Oh my God, you've got it. Did you feel that? That's exactly right." We'd collapse on the couch, sweaty and exhausted and happy. She'd tell me stories about her competition days, the costumes, the rivalries, the thrill of performing, stories she'd kept locked away for 20 years, finally given permission to emerge. "The best part wasn't winning," she told me one night. "It was those moments on the floor when the music would hit just right and you'd stop thinking entirely. You'd just be. Pure movement. Pure feeling." "I know exactly what you mean." She squeezed my hand. "I know you do, sweetheart." I realized something during those weeks of practice. The dream had come full circle, from her to me and back to all of us. It wasn't just my mother's dream anymore, or just mine. It had become something shared, something that transformed our entire family. My father started asking about my progress at dinner. "How's the routine coming? You nervous about the showcase?" Questions that showed he was trying, that he was choosing love over fear, even when fear felt safer. My mother would tease me lovingly, and we'd all laugh because the very idea of her being strict about dance technique was absurd and perfect. This time, it wasn't just her dream shining through, it was mine too. And somehow, in sharing it, we'd all become more ourselves. Acceptance doesn't change who you are. It lets you be seen for who you've always been. In the weeks leading up to the showcase, life felt lighter, like I'd been carrying invisible weight my entire existence and only noticed it was gone once I'd set it down. I still practiced every day, but now with confidence instead of secrecy. I'd come downstairs in my practice, skirt and heels, and no one flinched. It became normal. It became right. We bought the dress, bought the performance heels, higher than my practice ones, with ankle straps and a confidence I didn't know footwear could provide. Bought jewelry, makeup, everything I'd need. I didn't need an audience's applause. I had something better, understanding. My mother taught me rhythm. My father taught me courage, the courage to be yourself even when it scares the people who love you. Together, they taught me how to stand in my truth. The showcase was 3 days away. I was nervous, terrified, even. But I was ready. I used to dance for her dream. Now, I dance because I finally found mine. And maybe that's the real inheritance. Not the steps, but the courage to move in your own rhythm. If this story touched your heart, I'd love for you to join the Gender Diary family. Subscribe and let's continue exploring these stories of identity, courage, and transformation together. Drop your country and the time you're watching in the comments below. I read every single one and I'll reply personally. Because here, every story finds its rhythm. The end.
The Gender Diary exists to light that path with shared stories. Whether you found connection in this narrative, you're on your own journey of gender exploration, or you're here seeking understanding, your subscription fuels our mission. Every subscriber empowers us to keep illuminating these authentic experiences for our community. Kindly drop a comment below. Your voice adds to the tapestry of experiences that makes this space meaningful. Until our next story unfolds.